Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful week. And as you can see from my thumbnail and my title today, today we're going to talk about my moving journey in Singapore. So I lived in Singapore for about 4 years, from 2012 to 2016, and it's one of the best experiences in my life. So I thought of sharing with you guys if you're interested in working abroad, living abroad, or generally interested in living in Singapore. Definitely continue watching this video because I'm gonna share with you guys a lot of information, and I think you will find this video very interesting. And also, if you're new to my channel, nice meeting you guys. So my name is Lucy, and I am originally from South Korea. And I am living in Toronto in Canada, and before moving to Toronto in Canada, I also lived and worked in Singapore and in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So yeah. So let's dive in. All right, so in today's video, I am gonna share with you first why I decided to move to Singapore, and second, how I found my first job in Singapore, and third, some things that you might need to know before moving to Singapore, and great things about living in Singapore, and all the juicy information like that. So first, why I decided to move to Singapore. Okay, so I graduated from university in South Korea, and after graduating from university, I got my job in Seoul in South Korea. At that time, I was working at an airline company as a sales rep. So if you want to know more about my career journey, definitely check out this video because I share a lot of my career journey. But yeah, so that was my career at the time. I was always fascinated with the idea of working abroad as a career-driven woman, wearing really fancy dress with high heels and stuff like that. So I always thought of like living abroad and working abroad. But as you know, I am very, very much of a planner. I'm a strategic person. I wouldn't just go somewhere without planning. That's just my personality. I was asking myself, like, which country can I go first? And then at that time, I didn't want to study anymore, and I didn't want to enroll in university again or master's program, etc. So I needed to find a country that I can get a working visa while not studying, right? So, and then still a country where I can really be successful in my career. So I was doing a lot of research, and also I have a really good friend of mine from Singapore whom I met in Sweden when I was doing exchange for 1 year during my university. This again, I'm gonna create another video about Sweden because I love Sweden. But anyway, for this video, let's stick to this Singapore life. But anyway. So yeah, so thanks to her, I traveled to Singapore a couple times before I actually make a decision to move there, because I really needed to understand if I really vibe well with the country, if I really love the country, how I feel about the country when I was there, and I loved it. So okay, so after my trips to Singapore, I realized Singapore is my next country that I am gonna expand my career. So that's the reason why I decided to move to Singapore. Okay, now I know I want to live in Singapore. I want to work in Singapore. What to do next? Okay, so I needed to find a job, and I realized there are two different industries that I can earn good amount of. Well, I can earn the money that I was expecting at the time, and that was either you work in tech industry or finance industry. I knew that finance industry is not my forte, and tech industry, I love technology, and why not? I'm gonna just give it a go, right? And then at the time, I found a job. It's a tech company. They are looking for a sales rep who can speak Korean. So, oh my gosh, this is a great opportunity. So I applied for a job, and it went through a recruiter from the recruitment agency. I really enjoyed working with her. She's one of the best recruiters that I ever worked with. And I applied for a job, and I actually got a job before moving to Singapore, which I am very, very fortunate, which I'm really, really thankful for, because I heard that a lot of people get a job in Singapore because obviously you gotta have in-person interviews and stuff like that. But I was lucky enough to get a job just via phone interviews. I remember first interview that I had was the interview with my recruiter from the recruitment agency, and after that she arranged an phone interview with me and HR manager from that company and from that the company that I was applying for. And then after that I had an interview with direct manager, hiring manager, and team leader. And I remember after that I also had an interview with like director. Anyway, I either had 3 or 4 phone interviews like all together, right? So, and then the funny thing is, it was just phone interviews. It was not even Zoom. It was just phone interviews. And I got a job. Oh, and actually I just remember that I also had an interview with one of the colleagues. I remember that. I actually had to pitch myself to my hiring manager, team leader, HR manager, and recruiter from the recruitment agency, and a colleague at the time who was working there. So, and then also director, I'm not really sure if I had an interview with him, but I think I did. But anyway, my point here is that there were many, many different people that I had to pitch slightly differently. All right. Yeah. Oh, and if you want to know more about how you can pitch strategically, make sure to download my free guide. I talk a little bit about that. So anyway, download that and you can kind of like understand what I'm talking about. So in terms of job like searching and how my interview went and what kind of questions they asked me and what kind of questions that I prepared for, because obviously these questions are a little bit different because I was looking for a job abroad. So for them, they are also taking a risk of hiring someone they have never met in person. So each of us were taking a risk and betting on each other, right? So there were some questions I remember that they were asking me regarding working abroad and moving to a new country, etc. So I'm gonna create another video for you guys. So wait for the video, right? So yeah, and another thing that I really want to talk about is at that time I remember, because I was working in airline industry, and first I am changing my industry, like from airline to tech industry, which I haven't worked at all. And I was also changing my country from South Korea, my home country, my South Korea, to Singapore. And it was very, it really requires me to take a leap. And it was not an easy decision. However, I knew that it's the right decision because I already traveled to Singapore before making a decision. I felt great. So I highly recommend everyone to travel to the country you really want to leave. Because sometimes you feel like, oh, this country might be amazing or this city might be amazing to leave. But then actually imagining can be a little bit different. So just travel there first for a couple days, and then feel that if this feels right to you, if you feel the vibe, if you feel great living there, if you can actually imagine yourself living there, working there, right? I think that's important as well. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that as well. So now moving on to the next one, which is how it is living in Singapore and working in Singapore. So living in Singapore, I loved it. I guess that's why I lived there for 4 years. If you are in tech or finance industry, I highly recommend, because for example, a lot of tech companies headquarters is in Singapore, and which means a lot of like big companies that you might heard of, their headquarters is in Singapore, which means they have many jobs available for you. So it's a hub of APAC, right? There are many expats living in Singapore. It's very diverse country, and I remember there are so many like different nationalities living in Singapore, having one goal and one big dream they have. So It's an amazing country. And also, one of the cool things working in Singapore is the income tax is really low. I heard that it's been increased a little bit ever since I left Singapore, but when I was working there from 2012 to 2016, I remember it was like from 8% to 15%. I think so. I'm not sure yet now, but definitely income tax is definitely lower than any other countries in the world. So another cool thing living in Singapore is definitely traveling, because Singapore to Thailand or Singapore to Bali or Singapore to like other Southeast Asia countries is very, very simple and easy to travel. So yeah, that's another cool thing living in Singapore. And also you feel like, you know, it really depends where you live, but if you live in apartments or condominiums in Singapore, there's a swimming pool outside of your building, which means like it's a shared swimming pool. But like I remember, I feel like because it's 24/7, it's all year summer, right? So if you love summer weather, and if you love like, definitely I think you're gonna enjoy it that much, because I remember one of my friends lives in a super luxurious condominium in Singapore, and oh my gosh, I felt like I was in resort, right? So imagine, like, even if you're not living in a super highly expensive like condominium, usually apartments, they do have swimming pool and stuff like that, so you feel like living in resorts every single day. So if you like a little luxurious stuff, resort, those kind of thing, I think you're gonna enjoy it much. So yeah. And also another cool thing about living in Singapore is the expense is really high. So restaurants are very expensive, and bars, like drinks, are so expensive. I remember I was like drinking a lot before even going out, because I knew that drinks are very expensive, right? But at the same time, they have great food courts as well. If you want to save up some money, you actually can. So some meals are $5, $6, but less than $10 with their great food. There's so many great food in Singapore as well. So definitely, I really love Singapore. But one thing that I want to say though here is, if you're not really used to air conditioner all year around like me, it could be a little bit difficult, because everywhere you go, there's an air conditioner. If you want to move to Singapore, definitely, I guess, like taking care of your house is the #1 thing. Prepare some cardigans or sweaters and stuff like that when you go out. So that's one thing that I want to highlight. So yes, this was a short story about me moving to Singapore and working in Singapore and living in Singapore, but definitely there's way more way more stories and things that I really want to share with you guys. I'm gonna create another video specifically for career in Singapore, so stay tuned. And yeah, so now we talked about my moving journey to Singapore, and next week I am gonna create another video all about me moving to Amsterdam from Singapore. So I lived in 2012 to 2016 in Singapore, and then I moved to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, which I'm gonna share with you guys a little bit more next week. All right, so thanks for watching, guys, and I really do hope you find this video somewhat useful, and make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And because if you are an expat living abroad, or if you want to work abroad, or if you're already working abroad or living abroad, and if you want to change your career, I think you are gonna enjoy my channel a lot. So yeah, that's it for today, guys, and have a great Sunday. Have an amazing Sunday, a wonderful week ahead, and I'm gonna see you guys on Wednesday with another job interview question related video. All right, so see you guys. Thanks, guys.